Coming at you from the OLR podcast studio.
It's really more of a basement.
Coming to you from the OLR basement studio.
But it's still a podcast.
Coming to you from the podcast basement studio.
Yeah, but you still need to say OLR.
Coming to you from the OLR podcast basement studio.
Oh, that's way too many words.
Coming at you.
That's not enough. You still need to say OLR.
Let's just start. It's OLR. What's up, Dustin?
Hey, buddy. Welcome to the
hot ass podcast in the middle of the garage.
This is gonna be a good one today, though. It is
a good one.
Summer is here.
I got to figure out how to get the air conditioner to run without echoing into this room.
So your public service announcement, as always, as I say every May and June, do not be caught complaining about summer because we all hate winter. I won't say all because I know some people that do love winter.
Right.
I hate it with a passion.
Mm-hmm.
I hate cold weather. I hate everything about it. So I will endure in the heat. It's summertime. You can jump in some water. Yeah. If you choose to, the lake, the pool, whatever. I love summertime. Sometimes I wished. The only thing about it, I wish there was more of a spring. I wish there was more of a fall.
Yeah, it kind of it just ran away. Where spring never happened. It was
it never does, man.
Yeah, it was
never
ridiculous.
does. It goes straight to 90 degrees. So
yeah,
turned the air conditioner on for the first time in the man cave today. As I was, hopefully the Lakers lost today. I don't know if they did. My son is, as everybody knows, is a huge LeBron James fan, and they were down 12 points to the Phoenix Suns when I left. So hopefully they lost. Hopefully they lost. So hopefully they lose 3 more times. But
you know what comes with a little bit of heat? Football season.
Good segue to our guest today, Lucas. So
Bam.
I was very excited to talk to this gentleman, Matt Rogers, the new public address announcer for the Tennessee Titans.
And how can you not be excited when you're talking to him?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I stayed out of this one, but there wouldn't have been I wouldn't have known what to say. I would have been so excited. I would have just been talking. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have anything to say.
Yeah, so everybody that's been to a Titans game for the last 21 years in Nashville has got used to the voice of Duke Donegan, and it's third down, and that's his calling card. And as Matt says on this interview, the Titans were not very good on third down. You could get 3rd and 1, and you'd almost feel as optimistic if they were on. I mean, you could be 3rd and 15, and you're like, oh, that's not good.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good. This is the first down coming. You almost felt just as good about a 3rd and 1. But, yeah, Matt won the recent contest, beating out several other applicants, and he will begin his new job September 12 officially when the Titans host Arizona Cardinals. So, yeah, we did about almost an hour interview here with Matt, and he talks about his journey as far as being a contestant on American Idol Season 3, his work for Turner Sports, and just a little television stuff before going through the process of winning the Titans contest, who he's talked to within the Titans organization. Really cool story there about who texted him when he won the job. So, yeah, really good interview with Matt Rogers. So, hope you guys enjoy it. Welcome to the show tonight, the brand new public address announcer for the Tennessee Titans, Mr. Matt Rogers. Matt Rogers, how are you tonight, brother?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Dustin.
So, where is home at? Are you in Nashville?
No, I am in Spring Hill, Tennessee, where Jesus lives, baby. It is fantastic. We moved here 5 years ago and absolutely love it. Never regretted one day. It's getting a little crowded, but where isn't, right?
Well, we were just talking about off air,
Here isn't.
Yeah, where we live is not crowded, but everywhere else in Tennessee, it seems like you and I were just talking. We're close to Cookeville, which is a booming town that is much different than when Lucas and I went to Tennessee Tech there. And of course, you're close enough to Nashville, you know what that's like. So, Tennessee is a growing place.
It is.
So
the word's out. Tennessee is the best state out of all 50 of them. So now they're flocking here.
Well, I've always thought that. Yeah, it's like I think the number at one time was like 88 people a day that was moving to Nashville. It's just it's such a crazy place. You can find on Twitter. You can see the skyline of downtown Nashville, like in 2011 versus 2017. Just how rapidly it's grown. I can remember going to Broadway in 2004, and it was just such a different place than it is now.
Yeah.
No pedal taverns. No pedal taverns back then.
That's crazy. And now they're everywhere, man. You can't even walk down the street without almost getting hit by one.
They've got so many variations now. It's the pedal tavern, but then they've got the party barges, and I don't even know the variations of them. There's like tractors. I think there's tractors you can ride on now. It's crazy, but So man, doing my research on you after you won, of course, all the attention came your way after the contest for the Tennessee Titans, but man, you've literally done everything. Is there anything that you haven't done in the last 15 years?
I haven't skydived yet, and I think if you would have caught me before I had kids, I always wanted to do it, but I don't think I would anymore. I really don't. I want to do one of those indoor skydiving places, though. But I mean, that's one thing that I haven't done. I've been very blessed. I've had the privilege of, snow skiing in Dubai in the desert when it's about 140 degrees outside. I went to the indoor ski resort. That was fun. But look, man, I really think you only get one shot at this thing called life, and I want to take advantage of every opportunity that God gives me while I'm healthy, and I want to go after it. So, I mean, with this thing, I grew up an Oilers fan. When I played football at 7 years old for my first football team, we were the Oilers, and that's when I became hooked. And then when they left, when they weren't the Oilers anymore and they went to the Titans, I was actually kind of bummed because I thought the Oilers were so cool. But I had to follow my team and then followed them when they became the Tennessee Titans, and which is equally cool. But ever since we moved out here, we've been season ticket holders, and we've created so many cool memories for my two oldest boys. We have 3 kids. The youngest one's a baby girl. But, man, Tennessee's my team. So when this opportunity became available, I jumped all over it. So it was a blessing to get for sure.
That's like a full circle thing right there. Starting off as an Oilers fan, now you're the man for the public address announcer job. So that's some television scripting, which you know plenty about that as well in your long – lengthy, man. You host so many shows. I had no idea. I don't watch a lot of television, so your resume, man, it's pretty lengthy with television stuff.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been good. I didn't grow up like this. Like, how do I put it? The power of a praying mother should not be underestimated because I probably had the least amount of potential out of anybody on planet Earth. And things definitely did a 180. So, like on American Idol, I knew I wasn't the best singer. You had Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson, LaToya London. Like, it was the year of the diva. And I was, when it comes to singing, I think I'm a really good time at karaoke. Like, maybe I can win the local karaoke competition, but when it comes to like reading music and being a true artist, like that's not me. Like my passion's not writing and creating music. So when I was on that show with these other like true artists, I'm looking at like Jennifer Hudson, and I'm like, I can't do that. But when I got voted off, Ryan Seacrest and Simon Cowell were really good to me. And the producers on Idol were really good to me. And they said, well, what do you want to do? I said, I've always loved to make people laugh, and I've always liked to entertain people. And, Ryan, if you could help me host TV shows like you do, that's what I want to do. And he goes, look, dude, I can get you in the room, but I can't get you a job. And I said, just get me in the room. And there was 12 of the Seacrest agents in the room. 9 of them told me no. 3 of them told me yes. And I've been with the same guy ever since for the past, almost 20 years now. So It's been good.
It's, just doing the research and everything on you have you stand out, with your personality. And that was one thing that I noted with Simon Cowell, the famous part where he calls you out after the you performed Amazed by Lone Star, and he just gives you up and down the road, and Paula was really nice and Randy was really nice, and Simon just really crapped all over your performance and said you were smiling too much, and you were still smiling on stage. You're like, I'm smiling too much. So good for you for being yourself in that moment, because a lot of people would have not probably taken that very well. And you told him you loved him, the best I remember.
I think he called me a second-rate Tom Jones performance the first time I sang. And then, but here's the thing with Simon Cowell, like, dude, he was right. Like, I mean, he was right. After I sang Amazed by Lone Star, which I did not want to sing, we can get into that if you want to.
Sure, yeah, hit it.
I sang that. Yeah, he goes, dude, like, that's not you, Matt. Like, it was cheesy. You're sitting on the steps. You're smiling into the camera. Like, he goes, you want to entertain people. He goes, and that was not it. And he goes, and unfortunately, I think that performance is going to send you home. And it was crazy because I didn't think I was going to win it, but I thought I was going to end up going like top 5 or maybe even top 2, because at the beginning of the year, he predicted me and Fantasia at the end. So when he said that, I didn't think I was really going to go home, but man, he was right. That's the performance that sent me home, which was a shame because I love country music and that's all I wanted to do on Idol. So I got voted off during Country Week. And it's just because I picked the wrong song. This was back in the early 2000s. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to throw on a cowboy hat and I wanted to sing How Do You Like Me Now by Toby Keith. But, you know, that song was still relevant at that time and it was a hot song.
Sure.
And the producers sat me down and they're like, you know, America wants to see the softer side of you. Every week you come up here, you kind of dance around and you entertain. And I think I did that because I knew I didn't have the best voice in the competition. So my strength was getting the crowd into it, hyping up a crowd. Hello, now I'm the PA announcer, which is funny. But like, you know, people didn't, I mean, I hate to say this because it's a sing competition, but it's not like people voted me because I was such an amazing singer. Like, they voted for me because I made them feel good. Like, I got them out of their seat. I got them hyped up. And so to sing a slow song by Lone Star, I really got influenced by the producers. And, you know, you're 24 years old and you want everyone to like you and you want to please everyone. So that's why I picked that song, which, you know, sealed my Idol fate, which was a bummer. I was really bummed when I got voted off.
Yeah, you know, I don't watch those shows a lot. My wife loves American Idol and such like that. I just I watched them for a while, but I always wondered, like, what's the backstage politics on stuff like that, and you know how much people are, you know, I mean, they put those feel good stories together on those shows all the time. You just wonder how much that is staged, kind of like that, you know. So,
well, I mean, behind the scenes. Look, it's like anything else. I was 24 at the time, but I was the oldest on that, you know, that season. Like a lot of them were, you know, I think Diana DeGarmo was 15 years old. And, you know, most of them were late teens. And I think I was the 24-year-old, which was like the granddad, right? Which is funny to think about. But if you treat people well, they will in turn want to elevate you and treat you well. Like, you know, I believe, you know, God uses people to promote people. And I was in that environment. I was used to traveling because I had a football background and I was used to being on the road and in a hotel by myself. So like, I was very disciplined, like getting my sleep and eating right and all that stuff. And a lot of these kids, like, they'd party and stay until 3, 4 in the morning and then they'd get on stage and forget their words. But, you know, and some of them thought that they had arrived because they made American Idol and they didn't treat people great. And I think that was the strength for me, is just treating people well, and they helped me a lot. And in that moment when they wanted me to sing a different song, they were trying to put together just a smooth format for the TV show. Mm-hmm. They didn't want me to fail, but at the same time, they wanted their TV show to be good, and they needed a slow song. So, you know, they probably wanted me to slow it down and sing a slower song so it can, you know, run the format of the show better. But I wish I would have been more sure of myself, because then I would have said, nope, this is what I'm doing. This is what I want to do. And I would have stood up for it more. But it was kind of like me saying, like, okay, well, you think I should do that? Okay, if you think so, then I'll do it. Right. You know, I don't think they meant anything bad by it. They just wanted to make a more fluid show, and they needed a slow song.
One thing I noticed on that American Idol video, it goes back to your brother being interviewed. And it says that, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically good things happen to you and things fall in your lap, but you also make things happen. So where did you go from there? Like, you know, all these opportunities presented themselves. You said 3 people said yes. So what was the next turn after American Idol? What was the first show that you hosted?
The first show that I hosted, which was a perfect fit, was sideline commentary for TNT Sports. It was Turner Sports.
Sure.
And back in the day, they would have College Football Saturday. They don't do it anymore, but back then they had they would show a feature game of the week. And this was in 2005, and I followed USC with Reggie Bush and the University of Texas with Vince Young, and I followed both of those teams. I would rotate every week and followed both of them to the Rose Bowl game, which was just awesome in itself because, I'm a football guy. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you up. That's still considered like the greatest college football game of all time.
It really was, man. It was awesome. I mean, that season I got to watch, Vince Young take down, oh God, dude. I think the coolest game I saw was Texas versus Texas Tech. That game was unbelievable. And then Texas versus Oklahoma was unbelievable. And then I watched USC play Notre Dame at night, and what known as the Bush push, where Reggie Bush pushed in Matt Leinart for the win. Mm-hmm. I saw that. I was on the sideline, and it was just, I followed both those teams. That was my first job, and it was a dream because, I'm 24 years old, and I'm getting paid, it was all the money in the world. I'm getting paid $2,000 for every Saturday to fly first class, announce college football for the two best teams in the nation, stay at a nice hotel. And I'm like, dude, they're actually paying me for this. But the one thing that I always like, I'm a guy that I'm more comfortable asking for forgiveness than permission. So when you're there and you're the sideline guy on Turner Sports, you have CBS, ABC, NBC. Like, I'm kind of the low man on the totem pole. So all these other reporters or sideline commentators, which is what I did, like, it wasn't a very, like, it sounds cool, you and I talking about it, but in the world of commentary, it's like the least of everything. Like, you're the low man on the totem pole. So everyone wanted to talk to Vince Young. Everyone wanted to talk to Reggie Bush, Lendell Wild, those guys. But they would, like, wait for the hierarchy. Like, okay, well, Costas goes first, and Keith Jackson goes first, and all these people, like, yeah, dude. I didn't play by the rules. I would go straight up to Reggie Bush, straight up to Vince Young. Hey, Vince, Matt Rogers here with Turner Sports. Listen, man, you went for 200, and I would just get into it, and nobody would stop me. So my bosses loved me because I always got the interview, and they're like, dude, how do you always get the interview? And I'm like, I just go for it. And I never got in trouble. All these people were afraid to, like, put their neck out there and do it. And, we always hear the saying, like, you miss 100% of the shots you never take. Like, that's how I've always just lived my life. Like, and believe me, I've made a ton of mistakes. I've heard no way more than I've heard yes. But that's kind of how I was able to excel at that job, is I always put myself in the way of an opportunity. I've never been the most talented. I've never been the fastest, biggest, strongest, or even smartest. I graduated with a 1.96 GPA, right?
Yeah, I can relate to that.
I've always learned how to position myself in the right place. So when the opportunity comes, I'm right there to grab it. And, when you think about this PA job, if you look at it on paper, out of the top 6, I'm the least qualified. I really am. Like, I've been on TV and stuff, but when it comes to PA announcing, I'm the least qualified. There's a guy that did it for NHL. There's a guy, a couple guys that do it for the NCAA. One guy was the voice of, the Tennessee Volunteers. And,
sure.
There's another guy that did, like, the Olympics, all this stuff. You look at me, and, I'm the high school color commentator for Summit Spartans here in Spring Hill, Tennessee. Like, that's kind of the peak of my PA resume. So you look at me on paper, and it's kind of like, okay, well, we're going to throw that guy out. But because I'm an ex-football player, because I'm a Titan season ticket holder, because of this stuff, I feel like I positioned myself to where it looks like, wow, this guy's really overqualified. When at the end of the day, I just feel like I've positioned myself the right position. And, when it comes to passion, that's kind of where I feel like I really shine. I believe, without trying to sound like that, like, I'm unmatched in the passion because I've sat in the cheap seats my whole life, screaming, cheering, commentating for the Titans. And then now to be in that position, I'm not going to hold back. Like, it's going to be big on Sundays.
Yeah. And I think the Titans need that. And I think, of course, you're following in the footsteps of Duke, who Duke is legendary. And, of course, everybody loved him. But don't know what it is. Sometimes the Titans fans can be a little lackadaisical at times. I'm not saying you or me, but as our overall, when the Titans had their down seasons, we've become where opposite teams are filling the stadium, and I don't know. Sometimes the Nashville crowd doesn't get too loud. I don't know if you would agree with that, but at times I've seen that.
No, I agree with you 100%. It's super, super frustrating because I'm such an emotional, animated guy. It's actually one thing that I've really hated about being a Titans fan because there's nothing intimidating about coming to Nashville to play a football game if you're an opposing team. If anything, you love it because, in the early, in the late summer, early fall, and all through fall, the weather is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the winter, it gets chilly, but it doesn't get frozen tundra cold. It doesn't get Philadelphia or New York cold or New England cold. It's not an intimidating place to play. And that's always bothered me. The other thing is that we border 8 states, and this place is a melting pot for people that don't live in Tennessee. So, my whole neighborhood is filled with freaking Steeler fans, and Packer fans, and it's it bugs the crap out of me because I feel like, all right, dude, that's cool. You came from there, but you live here now. So if you're gonna live here, be a hometown hero. Vote for your team. I'm sorry to say this because I'm sure people from different states, and I came from a different state, but if you're a Rams fan or a Seahawk fan, whatever, well, dude, you live here now. So leave that stuff somewhere else. Don't bring that here. You left for a reason, right? I don't know. That's my opinion. That's how I feel. So it's always been frustrated, especially when it's a Steeler game or a Kansas City game, and 40% of the stadium is black for the Steelers, red for the Chiefs. It makes me mad, and that's been discouraging. So I feel like this is an opportunity for me to really bring up the crowd. So that's been discouraging. But the encouraging thing for me is I've been to a handful of Predator games, and they're under the same circumstances as us, but somehow the Predators have figured it out. If anything, hockey should not be successful in Nashville, but it is. And playing in Bridgestone as an opposing team is one of the hardest places to win a hockey game because of the fans and because of the environment. So the way I see it is, if hockey can freaking do it, football can freaking do it. And I'm only 42 years old. If God blesses me, I'll be doing this for the next 30 years. I'm going to find a way to put my fingerprint on making Nashville a tough place to play because it's possible because we've seen our hockey team do it.
Well, and it was early on. I mean, you've been here for several years now, or a handful of years, but you've seen them on television. If you were an Oilers fan that transitioned over to a Titans fan, but I mean, the early days of Steve McNair and Eddie George, that place was full and it was electric, and it was Titans fans. And I think somewhere along the way, when the Titans hit their down period, people started missing games. And I think it's 2 factors, really, in my opinion: the resale market, where fans will pay big time, because I have 4 seats. I'm of the cheap seats also, season ticket member. And the 4 seats behind me is always someone different every game. It's an opposing fan that's bought it, and they'll come into Nashville because they look at the schedule at the first of the year and they think, oh, we're going to go to Nashville for 4 days because it's such a booming town. And then, like I said, the resale value. I mean, I had a chance to sell my playoff tickets, the $50 tickets, for $250 each, and I didn't. I went to the game. But I think a lot of it's that, and people are willing to pay top dollar to come to Nashville to watch their team, and we've got to shut that down. And the product is good enough. And going back to your thing about the opposite team, one of my best friends, same deal, about 5 years ago, before the Titans really turned the switch, and John Robinson came, turned around, he goes, I don't see how you can be a Titans fan. He goes, I just don't understand it. And I was like, well, dude, I live here. That's why. And he says, well, I'm a Packers fan. I said, yeah, but you didn't grow up a Packers fan. I said, it's easy to look at a team and go, oh, yeah, they're really good and their quarterback's a star. I think I'm going to be a Packers fan. I said, that's pretty lame, really. Well, I can't repeat my actual words, but I said, you can't do that. I said, you got to be a Titans fan if you're here. So I'm with you, man. I think it sucks when you see people, and I get the Titans are a relatively newer franchise. We don't have the storied history as some of these other guys, but Why do you want to be a fan of the Chiefs if you're in Nashville? I don't get it.
It's true. It's almost as stupid as when, let's just say, the Ravens come here, and it's Titans versus Ravens in Nashville, and then you see someone wearing like a Giants jersey or a Cardinal jersey. You're like, wait, what? Like, it's the dumbest thing I've ever. Like, it's when I see people wearing a jersey and the team's not even playing at the game you're at, like, I verbally make fun of them out loud because I have a loud voice. I think that's the dumbest thing ever. It's
every game. Every game, someone in the stadium is doing that.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I'm trying, in taking this job on, I'm always thinking of ideas of how can I get the crowd involved. So I do have a couple ideas of welcoming everybody to Nissan Stadium. I have a couple things on what I'm gonna do, and I think just kind of the way I've lived my life is I'm gonna do things and probably ask for forgiveness instead of permission. I'm gonna take some shots. They're gonna miss. I'm sure some people are gonna be like, "Dude, that's really stupid," but sooner or later something's gonna catch, and we're gonna strike gold. And this place is gonna be an intimidating place. Something's gonna happen. I don't know what it is, but the sooner that the crowd can get behind what the environment and make it a hostile place is going to be awesome. Like, it's probably cool to be from Pittsburgh and be a Steelers fan and have, some of the most championships ever won. And the same thing with like Green Bay. And you have this rich history. I feel like Nashville in 30, 40 years from now is going to build something that people are proud of for their football legacy. Because we're a young franchise, only 20, 21 years old, sure. And we're growing faster than any state in the nation. I think we're the second fastest growing state in the nation. It's like us and Texas or us, something like that. But anyway, we have one of the best general managers in football. We have one of the best-hearted, kindest, smartest owners in football that actually lets the people she puts in place do their job. We have a badass head coach in Vrabel. We have arguably the best running back in the NFL right now. I mean, back-to-back NFL rushing champion. We have A.J. Brown going into his third year that is just, the guy's a Pro Bowl. Like, we have so many exciting things going on that, I feel like this is just a small moment in time to where really, truly, the next 2 or 3 years can really be something special. And I'm glad to be a part of it.
Absolutely. The window is there. And, fans may be a little tough on you for the first season. I don't know that you may go in and kill it, but, Duke has set such a standard and set the bar so high that the transition period is like they're so used to Duke. It may take a game or two, but with your infectious personality,
sure.
You're sure to be a hit. And some of the stuff, I watched your videos. I did think you were amongst the best. I thought some tried to go a little too far off the path, instead of being it doesn't matter. But I think what you're doing will be a hit. Are you moving away from the third down? What's your stance on the third down? Because that's the calling card for Duke. What's your
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's important for people to know too. The second I got the job, so I found out on Monday. So when everyone watched that thing on Wednesday where they announced me and Taylor Lewan did the stadium thing, they released that on Wednesday. But I found out on Monday, and I had to keep it quiet for 48 hours, which is tough for someone like me to do. But
exactly.
On Wednesday night, I texted Duke. I got his number from someone, and I said, "It's Matt Rogers. I'm the guy that's replacing you. I'd love to talk with you." And I talked to him on Thursday, and it was awesome. I spent about 45 minutes over the phone with him just picking his brain. What should I do? What shouldn't I do? What's going to succeed? What has failed? What was the biggest mistake you ever made? What was the best thing you ever did? Because he's been at Tennessee since day one. And I got some great advice from him. The coolest thing he said to me, which fired me up, he said, "Look," he goes, "I'm one of your biggest fans." He said, "I watch everything," he said, "and I put my vote in for you because, they talked to him like, who do you like? So that was a vote of confidence that I had the Duke on my side. And I asked him, I said, I can't completely change third down. I think that would be a big mistake to try to do something totally different. I think it's such a staple that if you tried something new, it doesn't matter how good it would be. Half the people would freaking hate it, and I'd lose them. So I think something like that you don't want to change, but at the same time, I can't copy him because I can never do it as good as he did it.
Sure.
So here's my thought process. My thought process is to elongate the third like he did, do that, but instead of making it so doom and gloom, kind of like, for lack of a better term, like it is, third down on the 24-yard, like instead of doing that, I'm going to stretch it out, and then I'm going to go up instead of down. So, like, and I haven't mastered it yet, but something along the lines of, it's third, and then elongate it, and then go up instead of down. And I'll go up with it, third down on the 23-yard, like something big. So it's still there, but it's different. So it's not like I'm trying to be him, but at the same time, I'm still respecting him, and I'm still, keeping the reverence of the third down because, for the last 20-something years, I've been doing it in the stands with him. So I think it would be foolish to completely try to restructure the wheel,
Yeah, and I'm not in the stadium, and I haven't had 6 Bud Lights, but I got to fire it up right there. Listen to that a little bit.
Well, that's the other thing, too, is we suck on third down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just call it what it is.
Yes.
Let's just call it what it is. So let's change something.
Yeah.
We're not loud on third down. Our defense hasn't been great on third down.
Historically bad, actually.
Yeah. Like, let's turn this ish up a little bit, and let's fire some people up. Like, let's be freaking loud on third down, because we're not right now. And, I can only do so much. You really have to have favor with the crowd and get them behind you, because if I don't have the crowd, I don't have anything.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna keep it, and hopefully people get amped up without. I think it's such a fine line, and we'll see what happens.
Well, let's backtrack just a second. So starting the competition, I didn't even know there was a competition until I guess I'd missed my season ticket member email. I don't know, but I don't. Where did you see the news at? And walk us through the process of, the tryouts, the day of tryouts, and just the whole process real quick.
So I missed it too. I get all the season ticket stuff. I don't know what happened, but it was like a Saturday, like 5 or 6 weeks ago, whenever it was.
Mm-hmm.
What are we in now? We're in May. So it had to be in March. So, like some Saturday in late March, I'm sitting in a Chick-fil-A drive-thru, and I get a text from my wife with a screenshot of the Titans Facebook page, and it says, Titans openly searching for next PA announcer. And my wife took a screenshot from her phone, and she put, oh my God, you have to try out for this. And instantly I read it, and I was with a buddy of mine, and I said, I don't know, man, it was like one of those moments to where you knew that, like, dude, that's mine. I have to have that. That's mine. I'm going to go get that. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. I said, Duke Donegan's retiring. I go, the Duke's retiring. And he's from Texas. So he looks at me and goes, who's the Duke? And I'm like, he's our freaking PA announcer, and he's retiring, and they're opening up. And he goes, and he looked at me, and he knows me. He goes, oh, dude, that's all you. And I go, well, let's go. So I call my wife. I go, what do I got to do? She goes, I don't know. There's information where you submit a tape. And I said, send me the link. So she sends me the link. I have the link. I went straight home. I took my Titan flag, all my Titan swag. I put it in the background of my living room. And they said, send in a 1-minute audition tape introducing yourself, where you're from, and why you should be the next Titans announcer. So I don't remember what I said, but it was something like I had my Taylor Lewan jersey on. I had all the Titan stuff in my background that I kind of like staged and I put together like in my living room.
Sure.
And I said, my name is Matt Rogers. I'm from Spring Hill, Tennessee, and I need to be your next announcer because I'm the only triple threat you're ever going to see. I'm an ex-football player and coach, so I know what's going on in the game. I'm a season ticket football player, so I've been in the cheap seats and watching the Titans for the last 5 years. And I have a background in entertainment, in television, and broadcasting, so I know what it takes to be your announcer next. I can't remember what I did at the end. I said something like try to be funny to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
I said like, if you pick me, I'll be announcing the next 10 Super Bowls for the Tennessee Titans, something like that. Like, basically, if you pick me, we're going to win the Super Bowl for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Something cheesy but funny. And I got an email 2 days later. It says, congratulations, you've been picked for the top 20. We want you to come to the stadium Monday night at 8:20 is your audition time. And I just started screaming, let's go. I've just been saying I got it from day one. I got it. My wife screams. She goes, what do you mean? I go, well, I got the audition. She's like, oh, you freaking loser. I thought you had it.
Yeah.
No, I got the audition. I got to go next week, whatever. She's like, okay. And then I just remember I walked in, the security people checked me in, and, I'm like, so how's everybody been? Are they good? And they're like, yeah, there's been a couple good ones. And I remember walking up, and I saw Lance Smith, and Lance is the on-screen guy that does the blitz with Eddie George, and he's kind of like the in-crowd face for the Titans every single game. Lance is on the field.
Right.
And I remember seeing him, and I'm like, dude, Lance Smith, what's up, bro? And he's like, hey, man. He goes, Matt, how are you? I said, good. I go, how's everybody been? And he looks at me, and he goes, Stormy Warren was pretty good. And I said, oh, crap.
Right, yeah.
Freaking Storm. I go, Stormy Warren audition? He goes, yeah. And that was really discouraging because I'm like, dude, the guy's got 1 million people who knows him. He's like Mr. Nashville.
Yep.
And he's got a serious radio show. He has, 100 times the fans and crowd I do. But immediately I started telling myself, like, look it, I grew up with a praying mom, like I said. And I know that God takes sturdy people and, God takes shaky people and makes them sturdy projects. Like, I'm all about the David and Goliath story. I'm all about, people who aren't supposed to win and end up winning. Like, that's been me my whole life. Like, I was a short, fat, slow, white football player that played one play his freshman year, quit his sophomore year, ended up starting his junior year, got no offers out of high school, went to JUCO for 2 years, and then my sophomore year at JUCO, I had 47 D1 offers. And I ended up going to the University of Washington, winning a Rose Bowl after I played at the University of Iowa for Hayden Fry. And Kurt Ferentz freaking, basically told me, hey, sorry, bro, you got 1 year left on your scholarship. And he basically kicked me out of Iowa because I didn't fit into his plan. That's a whole nother story. Went to the University of Washington 2 for 1 and ended up winning a Rose Bowl and getting a free agent with the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, I'm used to not being the best and biting, scratching, and clawing my way to the top. So when I heard Stormy Warren, I got discouraged. But then you start to think, like, look at all the places God's walked me through. Like, look at all the times I was supposed to lose and I won. Like, and you start encouraging yourself and lifting yourself up. So I remember walking into the booth and I was shaking. My hands were shaking. I was so nervous but excited. And I remember seeing like the whole team, the spotter, the announcer, and I just said hello to everybody, looked around, and I looked at all of them and they're like, how you doing? I said, good. I go, and I'm kind of being funny, but I'm being serious. I looked at them, I go, yep, feels like home. I think I'm supposed to be here. And I sat down. And all of them just looked at me like, who's this guy? And I read the script, and I said, like in my mind, I'm just going to go for it. Like, the script said, number 22 running back, Derrick Henry. Well, it's like, I'm not going to freaking announce Derrick Henry like that. No, dude. I'm going to say you're two, like, once in a lifetime do we get someone like King Henry. Like, you have two kings in professional sports right now. You have King James, LeBron James in LA, and you have King Henry. You have Derrick Henry, and he's our guy. So unless the powers that be ever tell me to stop, I'm never going to call him Derrick Henry. I'm going to freaking call him King Henry every time. So when I sat down, I'm not going to read number 22, running back Derrick Henry. I'm going to read, your two-time NFL rushing champion, all hail King Henry. And I think that was what put me over the top, because and then after that, you're in the booth, then you go down and you talk to the 5, quote, celebrity judges, or the 5 big dogs. One of the guys that is now my new boss, his name's David Schindler, and then his boss was there, and then a couple celebrities, but all of them, all they talked about was like, I love how you said King Henry. I love how you said Derrick Henry. So that was what I think really put me over the top. Everybody else said Derrick Henry, stuck to the script, and just did it. I went over, I did something different. You go back to my first job as an announcer. Everybody waited for their turn in line and followed the hierarchy. I would walk right up to Reggie Bush, Vince Young, and get the interview. Like, when you decide to do different things will happen. And, you know, if you do everything that you've always done, you're going to get the same thing you've always had. And this is something that I've never had, so I had to do something different. And then after that, I felt good, and I walked away, and they said, hey, thanks for everything. Thanks for auditioning. We'll email you, and we'll let you know. And then 2 days later, I got an email that said, congratulations, you've made our top 6. You're going to get an email tomorrow. You're not allowed to do any press interviews, because they wanted to keep it fair. Like, if we had to do interviews, Stormy Warman would have blown all of us out of the water, right? So we couldn't do any big interviews, but you could do like local Facebook Live, and, you know, like I did, you know, I did what I could on my own social media and with my friends and my network. And now it went to a fan vote. And then after the fan vote, they didn't really tell me much after that, because the fan vote went from Wednesday to Sunday. And then I got a text on Sunday night, and my boss now said, hey, can you be here tomorrow for a photo shoot as one of the finalists tomorrow at like 2:00? And I said, absolutely, I'll clear my schedule. I'll be there. So when I walked in there on Monday, I thought I was there for a photo shoot. And then, you know, they gave me a jersey, and they said, hey, we're going to take you to the 50-yard line, and we're going to shoot a couple photos of you. And I'm like, okay. And I'm walking out there, and they're like, yeah, we had the other guy stand over here and this and that. So, like, they did a really good job of making me feel like I was just a finalist. And they go, all right, we're going to take a couple shots of you watching the Jumbotron, and you're going to watch a couple announcements, and we're going to take some photos of you. I said, okay. So I'm watching the Megatron, sorry. And Taylor Lewan comes on, and he goes, I have a very special announcement for Matthew Rogers. And then my stomach just dropped. And I'm like, this is it. I got it. This is it. And like, I could feel that thing where you almost start crying, but like you're waiting. And then he said, the competition is over. You are the official PA announcer. And then I just started freaking crying, and I'm like screaming, like, let's go. Yeah. Let's go. And then after that, I took a couple pictures. I texted my wife, and I said, dude, I got it. I'll call you when I leave. And I just remember her writing, I still get emotional thinking about it. I remember her writing a ton of emojis, like those celebratory emojis. And she just wrote, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. I love you so much.
Much better.
And she goes, what's that?
I said much better than the loser reaction you got the first time you told her you got it.
Totally. And then, and she said, I'm in the middle of Kroger bawling my eyes out.
That's awesome.
And I'm just like, oh my God. So I called her, told her everything that you and I just talked about. And then she goes, well, what time are you going to get home? I'm like, I think I'll be home around 4 o'clock. She's like, okay. Well, the kids get home from the school bus around 3:15. Let's meet and, let's tell them together when you get home. I'm like, all right. So get home, and both of the boys are upstairs when we come home. So I'm like, hey, boys, come down. So they're both standing on the stairs, and my daughter was there too. My daughter's 6, and I have a 13-year-old boy and a 15-year-old boy. And they're all standing there. And I said, hey, the competition for the PA announcer is over. I said it kind of sad. And like my oldest son kind of looks at me sad. He goes, you didn't get it? And I go, of course I freaking got it. Let's go. And my 13-year-old son jumps from like the 4th step and jumps into my arms and just starts screaming in my face, let's go. And dude, I just remember like I was crying, I was holding him, and then dude, he pats me on the face and he goes, I'm proud of you, Dad. I'm proud of you. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, like that just did it for me. Because I mean, when we've had some challenges, like my 13-year-old son and my 6-year-old girl, they were born with a rare genetic disease called cystic fibrosis. It's like a chronic lung and pancreas disease. They're doing great now, like you would never know, but like just those moments, those little moments like that, when they come through, you just cherish them and you enjoy them, and a lot of emotion comes out. And I said, we're sparing no expense. We're going to freaking Jeff Ruby, and we are going to celebrate. And we went out and we got steaks that night and ate sushi and basically ate ourselves into a coma. And it was fantastic.
Well, that's awesome. That's a great story. And I want to touch on a couple things. First off, as a father of 3 boys myself, there's nothing you can be as big and bad as a guy as you think you are. But if your kid pats you on the face and say they're proud, man, that's
you're crying in the corner after a while. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I was freaking bawling. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the first time he's ever said that.
Oh yeah.
I've never heard my kids have never said that.
I think you hit the nail right on the head though about your story and about the journey with the process, because when I got the email from the Titans to do the fan voting, I thought, oh, Stormy Warren. That's the only guy that I knew. Just the name Stormy Warren. I grew up watching him on Great American Country Television. The Countdown and everything. So I thought, and I said, I don't know if Stormy Warren would be somebody I'd want to listen to on Sundays. And all due respect to Stormy Warren, but I thought, oh man, he's got the name value. He's probably going to win this thing, right? So then I watched the videos of everybody, and yours stood out. And it stood out for the exact reason you just said, because everybody else was going by the script. And I thought, oh, well, that dude switched it up. So then I looked you up, and I thought, well, this guy's resume is not too shabby his dang self. Like people know him as well. I didn't necessarily. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't know some of your shows, but and like I said, I never watched American Idol. So I thought, well, this guy's probably got a pretty good chance because he went off script. So I think you were very, very conscious of that. I think it's a very smart move on your part, because just me as a fellow season ticket member, holder, that's what jumped out as me, that you went off script and threw in the King Henry. So that was kind of genius, honestly.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you gotta. I mean, look, you could count on one hand the amount of times you get opportunities like that in your life.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to squander it. I wanted to go for it. I always think, like, if I look back, I want people to tell me I was too much, not, hey, you weren't enough.
And I think you're going to be too much if you get to wear your outfit that in Jim Wyatt's column you said you were going to try to wear on Sundays. Cowboy,
come on, baby.
Cowboy hat with Titan swag and a different jersey every time, the article says, from Jim Wyatt. Also the best in the business, Mr. Jim Wyatt. And the Titans jersey tucked in with the belt buckle showing. So where are we at on this process? Have we got the okay from the Tennessee Titans yet to wear your hat?
My new boss, David Schindler, sent me a text after he read Jim Wyatt's article, and he said, go for it. You can wear whatever you want. So I'm currently in the market for the best company or person that will make me a custom Titan belt buckle. I am going to wear a jersey tucked in the front with the belt buckle showing, and I am also going to make a custom Titans cowboy hat. And that's what I'm coming with because we're in Nashville.
Yeah, it's Nashville.
And we're gonna keep it real. And that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're doing, baby.
You know,
I'm coming with it.
If you would have won the PA announcer in Seattle or New York or Tampa, I don't know if that flies, but it's Nashville. So if you can't do it in Nashville, I don't know where you can do it at.
I mean, look, you're exactly right, and it's not going to be too much. Like, I'm not going to look like a character because at the end of the day, this is not about me. This is about the Titans. So I don't ever want to. How do I put it? It's not like. All I can say is the job's not about me. It's about the Titans and creating the environment. I think, especially in this business, if you try to raise your own brand above the brand that got you there, you'll get in trouble. So I don't want to do that. But at the same time, like, I don't want to be so discreet that, you can't pick me out from a crowd. Like, I want to have fun with it. Like, I want to interact with the fans. Like, look, at the same time, this is an opportunity that I don't want to squander. Like, come September 12th, when we play the Cardinals for the home opener, there's going to be a 7-year-old kid that is going to be coming to their first Titans game.
Sure.
There's going to be a 12-year-old, like, there's going to be a kid that I'm going to be the first voice they ever hear. So when you fast forward to where they're 21, 25, I want to be like, that's the guy I've been listening to for the past 20 years. He always wears the same cowboy hat, velvet. Like, I want to create that, and I don't want to squander the opportunity. And so I'm gonna have fun with this thing. And like I said, I'm gonna take some shots that hit, take some shots that miss. But it's gonna be awesome. I do have something really cool to tell you about Stormy Warren, though. Is I don't know how he got my number, but on a Wednesday afternoon, after everyone had found out that I was the new announcer, he said, "Hey," I got a text message that, "Hey, Matt, this is Stormy Warren. I just want to congratulate you. You're the best man for the job. You did a phenomenal job." I said, "Wow, that means a lot coming from you. Thank you so much." And then he said, "Can I have you on my show tomorrow morning?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, absolutely." So he had me on his show, and he was just first class. He was kind, he was gracious, and I mean, gave me props. And I mean, he said straight up, he's like, "Hey, dude, I'm not gonna lie, this really hurt." Like, he thought he was gonna win, which rightfully so. But he's like, "Dude, you did a great job, and I'm glad it was you. If it was gonna not be anyone but me, I'm glad it was you." And gave me a great interview, and it was awesome. So I think stuff like that's priceless. I definitely want to give him that shout out because you never know down the road. It was really cool. It was a cool move for him.
Yeah, it speaks pretty highly of Stormy's character to do that in that moment because, like you said, he was vested in winning as well. So very, very humble of Stormy to do that's really cool. I think what you've got going for you in this, other than your passion, I mean, like I said, I think fans are going to adore you right off the bat because you were a season ticket member. That's something that nobody else could say, that you've been there on Sundays raising hell and being loud, and you're a fan first and foremost. So, I mean, dude, they're going to love you right off the bat for that, in my opinion. I mean, I know earlier I said you have big shoes to fill. I think they can both be true. We can hold you to a certain standard because the work Duke has done, but people are going to love you because you're passionate and you are one of us.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's humbling and exciting at the same time. September 12th cannot come soon enough.
Yeah, let's see. And your boy Taylor Lewan, by the way, I don't know if you saw it today. Just a quick tidbit on Taylor Lewan. He chugged another beer at a Prez game. So I need you to bring that kind of passion. Maybe not without the beer, just the same passion.
That's the other thing. Like, man, the players have been so welcoming. Like, Taylor sent me an Instagram and Ben Jones, and just congratulations. The trippiest thing was on Thursday, which was the day after I got no, I'm sorry. I think it was Wednesday. Wednesday we were going camping, and I was like, towing our fifth wheel. Like, the morning I got announced we were going camping with the family. And I get a text from a number that I don't have plugged in my phone. and I'll read it to you right now because it's obviously now saved in my phone. Let me pull it up.
I'm glad you're giving these stories because that was my next question. Is I was going to ask you who from within the organization, player or management wise, had reached out to you. So I'm glad you went there.
So I get this text from an unrecognized number. It says, "Congrats!" Exclamation point. Excited to have you as a part of our team. So I'm like, well, that's cool. It's probably like one of the production guys or, one of the video guys or someone that I'm going to be in the booth with, right?
Mm.
And I write back, I said, "I'm beyond excited. Thank you so much. I don't have your number in my phone. Please let me know who this is." And then my personality, I like to joke. I like to make people laugh. So I said, "Please let me know who this is. Amy Adams, is that you? Coach Vrabel? King Henry? Who is it? Is it you?" And he writes back, "Crap. I forgot to put my name in there. Yes, it's Coach Vrabel." And my stomach freaking dropped. And I look at my wife and I go, "Dude, I think it's Vrabel." And she starts laughing. She goes, "No, it's not." So I make a quick little video and I go, "You can't play with my emotions like that. You got to tell me who this is. Like, who is this?" Now, this is Wednesday, which is the day before the draft. The draft's on Thursday. This is Wednesday, the day before the draft. I go, "Be honest. Tell me who this is." And he freaking makes a personal video that I've saved. And it's Vrabel. And he goes, "That's right." And he calls me Maddie. He goes, "That's right, Maddie. I'm about to get this draft, baby. Welcome to the team." So I have that freaking video saved on my phone. And I just wrote back, "Dang, I freaking love you, Coach." I said, "Have a great draft. #tighten up." And he says, "Thanks for bringing the juice. The two guys we picked before you declined, so you made it out." Ha ha ha.
I love that dude. God, I love Vrabel.
He's freaking great. I said, "Seriously, I'm going to make you proud, and I'm going to turn this up on game day." And he writes back, "I hear you. I said, quote, we better get this guy some new speakers. They are brutal. He's going to blow this you-know-what out. But we are getting new gear for you. So congratulations."
Oh, man, awesome.
So I'm like, let's go.
And if anybody appreciates intenseness, it's him. I mean, he's the guy out there in the drills with the players. That's the player in him. Like it's still in him. Like he's out there in drills with no pads on. I just love the dude. He's the right coach for this team, no doubt about it.
For sure, man.
Well,
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Hypothetically, on September 12, we've already heard your King Henry touchdown celebration. We're on the 10-yard line, down 3. Tannehill passes to A.J. Brown as time expires. It's 3rd and 6. Titans win the game. What's the call? Tannehill to Brown.
Tannehill to Brown for the game winner?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God, dude. It would be a dream. You heard it here first. It's going to happen. Oh, dude.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just thought I'd get us.
Put me on the spot. I got to replay this in my head. So here's the thing: is you can't say too much from the mic because you're just the PA announcer.
Exactly. Yep.
So like on Friday nights when I'm doing high school football and I'm color commentary, I can give a whole recap of what just happened and give my opinion. So if I'm color commentary, I could say, "An unbelievable pass by Ryan Tannehill to A.J. And I could say all this stuff. You cannot do that as a PA announcer.
You're right.
You literally just say, "Tannehill to Brown, touchdown, Titans win." Like, that's really all you're allowed to say. So with that being said, I would say, all right, let me see this in my head. Here we go. Boom, boom, touchdown, fireworks going off. Tannehill's pass complete to A.J. Brown for a touchdown! Titans, your Tennessee Titans in an unbelievable comeback victory! And that's the win, 23
Yeah, I love it.
It's gonna be. So I have, and I'm gonna learn. I'm sure there's gonna be moments where they'll be like, "Hey, dude, you can't say that much. Just stay." I mean, we'll see. I'm gonna push the envelope. Go ahead.
I hate sometimes it's hard on the radio, on phone conversations. I did not mean to cut you out, but what I was going to say was forgiveness over permission, your life story.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But here's the ultimate boss. I mean, I have a boss, but the ultimate boss is Amy Adams. And if Amy likes it, I'm good. If John Robinson likes it, I'm good. So I'm trying to win them over, because if I do, man, we're going to be all right. Success is the sum of pretty much all the actions that you ever take in life. So I'm going to take as much action as possible. And if anything, they're going to have to reel me back in. They're not going to have to ask me for more.
For sure. Well, man,
it'll be fun.
As a 20-year Titans fan, fellow season ticket member, I'm very excited for you and for us as a franchise. I think you're going to do an awesome job. And I thought so before, but after this interview, man, it's proven. I'm sold, man, for sure. So look forward to hearing you on September 12th.
Hey, me too, man. And I look forward to meeting you in person. So if we ever get the opportunity, make sure that we meet up. It'd be great. Because now you have my number, so shoot me a text on game day or whatever. I'd love to come see you.
Yeah, sure, man. I'll be there. I'll be there on September 12th for sure. My son said there's no way we're missing it. So so I'd love the opportunity to meet you. So, congratulations. Heck of an interview, man. I appreciate it so much, giving you so much time here. We'll put that on all the formats here, and all our Titans fans can get the lowdown on the brand new public address announcer, Matt Rogers. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that interview, man. Passionate. We told you there was plenty of passion out of the dude.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun to listen. Made me want to go to a Titans game.
Maybe I shouldn't have put him on the spot with that hypothetical call, but I just wanted to give fellow Titans fans
a taste of what they can expect.
Exactly. So thank you, Matt, for not hating me.
Yeah.
That I know of.
Well, he did a good job with
putting you on the spot. So yeah. I was excited to
did a good job.
That. But all right, guys, we're gonna leave you with just that this week. Did want to say thank you to everybody that did purchase tickets. We went ahead and posted the link for the North Springs Music Festival on October 23rd, 2021, headlined by Alex Williams, full band. We had made the announcement this week for Julie Roberts. Everybody knows Julie for her hits "Break Down Here," "Wake Up Older." Julie's done a lot of good things in her career, and really lucky to have her coming to the music festival. Also announced. It was not announced on social media prior, but Rye Davis also returning to the music festival along with Addison Johnson, who has been on the show with us here, had a fantastic interview. He'll be making his first appearance playing for us. And Mike DeMeza, my buddy from Hendersonville, will be always a crowd favorite. And one more slot to fill. I'm looking at who fits that roster the best. So we'll have one more artist to join the ranks of those. And I went and seen Alex Williams Friday night at 3rd and Lindsley, and he burned it down, man. We're in for a treat for Alex Williams. If you're sleeping on Alex Williams, you better wake up. He's doing big things. He played his new record as well, which is not out yet. But I just got to say thank you to Drew Eads, who's helped me tremendously with Alex there. And I'm telling you, he put on a show. So, guys, get your tickets. They're on eventbrite.com, $35 a piece. Pretty cheap to see that magnitude of talent here in North Springs on October 23rd. Also, my wife putting on the first annual Sweet Bell farm sale. We didn't say barn sale because it's not in a barn,
right.
But also coincides with that weekend, October 22nd and 23rd. So she'll have her farm sale going on. So if all the knickknacks and
patty wax,
all that stuff,
get your dog a bone.
All that Pinteresty stuff, So we're going to do big things in North Springs. But yeah, Julie Roberts is the name announced since last time we talked on Wednesday night. So I was happy to get that done the last few days. So yeah, hope to see you guys. Go ahead and get those tickets. I'm a nervous wreck until I always see tickets start moving, and a big number moved on day 1 and 2. So
good deal. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later. Love you.